Welcome back to Truth Stranger Than Fiction.
What's going on, guys?
We're
Episode 3.
we say welcome back. This is episode 3, but I've still got 1 and 2 on hold.
Okay.
They're still on hold. We can share them but there's just a little bit of, I don't know. I'm a little, because one of our goals here obviously is that we don't edit our videos, so we just look for good,
Got my pen.
we just look for reality, right?
Right.
Where'd the pen
Well,
go?
realism.
Yeah, I mean authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, so before in the first 2, it was like 2.5 hours.
It's pretty
Covered
good.
creation.
Pretty good.
And I mean, it was interesting, but there was just I don't think it came across as clean. Like,
regardless of what,
So,
it was definitely informative. I mean, we had a lot of good references in there. We also had a lot of examples.
Did you say examples?
Examples. But I know we also touched a bunch of different stories in the Bible that we wanted to go through as well.
Yeah. That's why I guess that's more of what it was. I think with our first one, we were kind of all over the place, which is okay. I mean, that's how our conversations usually go.
Well, they're rabbit holes.
Definitely
they're definitely because there's always a little veer off here or there, or
that's
this
right.
one we might hit this spot, and then we're going to move on to something else.
Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, that's one of the best things about the Bible. I mean, the Bible connects itself all over the place, right? And so you can always find references between this or this and this and this, and you'll hear one story where they're talking about Old Testament story, or so from New Testament to Old Testament connecting together and all that stuff. So one of the topics that I think we hit, and something's been weighing on me. I don't know why it hit me so hard the other week, but Job.
Oh yeah,
and everything that Job had to go through. But I'm going to be honest with you. I've done a lot of research on Job, and I've listened to YouTube videos, people talking about the story of Job, and I think a lot of people are getting a lot of things wrong. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think Job's a lot deeper.
I think there's a lot. Yes.
Let's give our disclaimer real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you do it this time.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want you to believe anything that we say. So our videos, we're just a father and son, sitting, and we talked about doing this for a long time. We just sit down and we have these crazy conversations, and it seems like 90% of everything we talk about is related around the Bible in one way or another. We're always learning different things, and it's just fun. So we kind of thought maybe we'll start a podcast and just make it try to make it feel homey, and like you guys are sitting in the room with us. Sometimes we talk about nonsense.
Your flies on the wall.
Yeah, and sometimes some of the things we talk about might be better to watch paint dry, but just don't believe anything we say. Go do your own research on everything that we tell you. Our goal here is just another conversations between he and I, but it's to compel you to dig in your Bible and learn more, because wisdom is knowledge, and it's just good to have biblical knowledge. And
the Bible says clearly multiple times throughout the entire book is to have fear of the Lord. And a lot of people question, what is the fear of the Lord? And if you really look deep, every time it says fear the Lord, right after it tells you it's wisdom and knowledge is fear of the Lord.
Yeah.
Now, I don't take that as also we have to know who we're speaking to, right? This is the Creator, the Almighty. This is the one who literally can snap his fingers and turn us to dust if he wants to. But he also loves us. This is also a man or a God with compassion. This is also, someone who wants to see us succeed. If he didn't, he wouldn't have went and sent his son to die for us.
That's right. We're made in his image.
So right. And so that's why I'm saying fear the Lord. Don't be afraid in the sense of cowering, but be afraid in knowing who you're talking to or who you're reading about when you gain your knowledge and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a key thing to remember from a lot of people. I mean, now, mind you, if you don't believe in God or you're a Satan worshiper, you better have a different kind of fear.
Mm.
That I will say.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that lake of fire is
I
going
agree
to be
with that.
hot.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about before, well, is that, God doesn't send us to hell.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
No,
we send ourselves there. Yeah, by wanting to be separated from him. It would be like if Michael didn't want to have a relationship with me, if he didn't want to pick up the phone and call me, or if he didn't want to just, whatever. I can't force him to have a relationship. It would break my heart, but at the same time, and that's how God is with us. There's not anything in that book that God puts in there to harm us. Everything, all the guidelines for the life and the lifestyle and and the different types of sins, even all the way down to the food that we eat. Everything is for our benefit. And if we lived by that word, we would live in a utopia.
Whole different ballgame. But I also think that, with us having free choice, I mean, I've got a son right now that doesn't want anything to do with me, and it hurts really bad. And I love him to death, but, I'm not going to force him. And I know that sounds terrible on my part, but, I feel like if I live the way Jesus would want me to, is you're not supposed to force somebody to do something they don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're supposed to be there as a servant for that person if they need you. If he ever calls and he needs me, I'm there 110%. But I'm not going to force him to be in a relationship with me.
Right.
And I feel that way with everybody around me. If you don't want to have a relationship with me, I can't make that happen. But if you want it, I can always be the servant to you regardless whether you want me or not. So I think those are things that just, we all are going through our own trials on that.
Right.
In different ways. I will also say this to anybody listening or watching. We all are sinners. Okay. It's just who we are. And then, I'm starting this off because we're going into Job today.
Is that where we're going?
Yes. I want to go into Job. I want to dive into Job. I think Job it's been just eye opening to so many things. And the cool thing is not only is the story of Job, a lot of people see it and they're like, oh, well, it's just whatever. But it also, God states some pretty amazing things that are shows that we are small.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he gets on to Job at the end and he's like, come on, man. Like at that point, you start seeing things and it's like, oh, but people say those aren't real. But people say that's not true. But people say, so I definitely want to get to that part.
Well, I mean, that goes right back to the name of our
that's
channel.
right.
It's Truth, Stranger than Fiction, because there are so many things in the Bible that are true, but they are literally stranger than what we would think of as fiction.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's just kind of jump into it, I guess.
Let's go.
So what, I guess as an introduction, just kind of your thoughts as how do you perceive after reading Job? What do you see as the character of Job? Like who he was, and what kind of man was he? What kind of stature did he have?
Well, I think a lot of people say that. Okay, so from reading, a lot of people say, Job talked to God, and Job was a holy man. He was righteous. He was upright, just like the Bible says.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that through the word. But I don't think he was having conversations with God at that point, right? I think he just feared God. He knew that there was a God, and he was doing the right thing for God.
Mm-hmm.
He was being a servant to God. He always did offerings for all of his family, and he would go sacrifice anything. He gave it all to God, right? In order for everything, it wasn't only him benefiting from it either. If you're reading in there, I mean, all his kids had houses.
Right.
All he had all this land. He had all these animals. He had servants galore. He had all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just him benefiting. But Job was also the kind of man that if a beggar came up, he would give him stuff too.
Yeah. That's
hey,
right.
Here, you need a place to stay for the night. You need a shirt off my back. Here, Job was that kind of guy.
Right. Well,
right?
he he would do sacrifices,
right?
Because that was obviously this. We're talking about the Old
Old
Testament.
Testament.
So this is prior to Christ. So that's what they did. They
Mhm.
sacrificed animals, spotless. And so he would sacrifice animals in recompense for his kids, just in case they had sinned against God, right, or transgressed, And so, I mean, I guess that kind of equals us today, praying. You pray for your kids, I pray for you,
right.
and then we pray for each other. But I thought that was kind of interesting, in there that
yeah, and it even says where's and 7 sons and daughters.
What's the chapter of verse?
I'm in Job 1. He's talking about his family, but he's talking about, okay, here it is. So verse 5, chapter 1. So it was when the days of the feasting had run their course that Job would send and sanctify them, and he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. Talking about his kids and everybody else around him. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. It may be.
Yeah, maybe they did.
I don't know if they did or not, right, but I'm going to make sure I'm covering my kids.
Yeah, we're not taking a chance here.
So, yeah, and it says, thus Job did regularly.
Right.
So it wasn't just, you know what, I was thinking about my kids today. No, it's Job had it. This is what I'm going to do.
Right.
So to see that and see what kind of guy he was for his family and the people around him, and also you see the friends that he has coming in a little bit. We'll talk about that. But I just thought it was pretty cool. I mean, he sounds like a really cool guy. He sounds like our papa, kind of, But
our papa.
Well, my papa, your dad. But that kind of thing just it struck me. It struck me for that. Now, let's jump past chapter 1.
So, well, let's set the stage, though. I mean, okay. I guess we kind of did, but so in those days, the amount of sheep and cattle and oxen and she-asses and all of that stuff that Job had it sets the stage that Job was very wealthy.
He was extremely wealthy.
Yeah, so he was, so just kind of to set the stage on that. So he was a man that had everything. He wanted for nothing.
Yes.
So now we get into where, and this goes back into where we were talking about God being Satan being the great attorney.
Yeah.
He goes before God and tries to tell God, hey, you see what Todd did down there? Did you see what Michael did down there? Keeping notes here. God, I don't know. They're being pretty, maybe you ought to do something about that, So anyway, so God's, the sons of men, the sons of God, which are the angels. Fallen angels, were kind of like around God, and it says that Satan was there too.
Well, it says Satan showed up.
Kind of like they were hanging out, know, and God's like, hey, Satan, where you been? And Satan's like, I've just been chilling out, going back and forth, wandering around in the earth, basically it alludes to, I'm down there looking for trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so God goes, well, hey, while you're down there wandering around, have you considered my servant Job? Kind of throwing Job out there, which is always kind of puzzling to me, because it's like, number one, that's kind of Satan tempting God, which we're told not to do.
I don't know.
Which, Satan obviously is going to do that because he's a...
See, I read that differently. I seen it as God wanting to test Job.
Well, what I'm saying is that
I don't think it was Satan, because Satan would have brought it up.
Satan was stirring, though. Satan was stirring, and God threw it out there as a test.
I know. He threw it out there as a test to see what Satan can do.
He did.
But at the same time, he threw it out there as a test to Job. And it's like, you got this upright, righteous man that serves you. And now you want to test him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, it was almost like God saying, hey, I bet you can't get Job to break.
Yeah, I kind of take it like that as well.
And so,
which is kind of a, it's kind of a...
I mean, it's saying good. It's God saying good things about Job in a way, because he knows how righteous he is.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's going, so God is going to throw the test and also point you out to Satan.
Right.
To
Yeah.
test
Yeah.
you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's even kind of scary. Yeah.
It's not, hey man, it's not just, so, the people out here, yeah, Satan's been on me today, or devil's been on my back today.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe it's not the devil.
That's right.
Maybe you were doing good by God, and God said, you know what? Let's see who he truly is.
Right.
Have you considered my servant Todd? Have you considered my servant Michael? Have you thought about them? Why don't you go down there and test them a little bit? You know what? Don't kill them.
Right.
Take everything else.
Yeah. Can't kill
So, I mean, it makes you wonder about God at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I ever want to question his motives or methods or whatever he's trying to do, because he proves a point out of it.
He does, absolutely.
But I think, so when that happens, right? God asked Satan if he considered his servant Job. And Job looks at him and goes, well, yeah, but if you wouldn't have given him all this stuff and created the hedge around him,
Mm-hmm.
he would never worship you. If he didn't have everything by your hand, he would never worship you.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, God's like, all right, go do your thing.
Yeah.
Take it away.
I'm going to take, and that's the part that I've always wondered about Job too. Did God actually take the hedge and cause Job to lose everything? Or did he allow Satan to do that? Because it kind of alludes to it in both directions.
So
it's basically,
from what I've read, to me, it reads that God removed the hedge and allowed Satan to do the dirty work.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It wasn't Satan that went down there and just did dirty work. It
Right.
was, but and here's the other thing that kind of hits me. Well, yeah. The thing that hits me hard on this is how many people had to die just to test Job.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. You want to read? Did you want to read some of it?
I mean, we can.
To kind of let the viewers at home get in a little bit of a biblical context.
So chapter 1, verse 9. So Satan answered the Lord and said, does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But now stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. So that's Satan telling God, if you go ahead and take everything, he'll surely curse you.
He's not going to be good with that.
So in my mind, when I read that, that's what's saying that God did it.
Mm-hmm.
God took his kids. God took his animal. God was the one that set the people up to go and do all this. Verse 12. And the Lord said to Satan, behold, all that he has is in your power. Only do not lay a hand on his person. And so
which makes it sound like Satan had control of it. Yeah.
So Satan's telling God to do it, and then God's telling Satan to do it. Right? So
yeah, I think you were probably right with your comment before. I think it was probably God lifting the protective hedge,
and then Satan going in doing the dirty work,
and doing what he wanted to do. But
so if we skip, I'm gonna skip the end of that, and I'm gonna shoot over to chapter 1, verse 13. Now there was a day, and this is going back to all of his stuff being taken and how many lives had to be taken. So now there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding beside them when the Sabines raided them and took them away. Indeed, they have killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. Now, it doesn't say how many servants he had out there, but with the amount of oxen and everything else he had, there must have been a lot.
It had a pretty good number.
And it was a good number, right? For that many animals, to work that many animals. So, a whole bunch of servants died.
Yeah. Then not 5 seconds later.
Right.
Like, he wasn't even done saying that.
He wasn't even done. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to tell you. So that's only 2 servants so far. Yeah. Whereas all those sheep, how many servants could have been amongst as
a lot? Because it was
shepherds.
Yeah, I can't remember how many heads of sheep it was, but
I mean,
it was a lot.
A lot.
It was a lot.
And you're sitting here talking about all the servants too going. And here's the other thing: we say God lifted the hedge and devil did the same dirty work, but this is fire came from heaven. Yeah. The devil has no control over that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Only God has that kind of power. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, while he was still speaking, another also came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 bands, raided the camels, and took them away. Yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the sword. And I alone have escaped to tell you. So again, how many camels did he have? 1,000, something like that?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about all the servants that were around them. Gone. So this is we're talking hundreds of lives,
and you're talking a conversation that's a matter of minutes here.
Yeah.
You're saying that one guy was talking,
standing at the door, and servant after servant after servant running up. And here's the kicker. While he was still speaking, another came and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house." And suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they are dead, and I alone have escaped to tell you. So again, this is control of weather. So not Satan, God, right? Mm-hmm. God is the only one that has the power to create and control weather. He's the only one that has the power to control fire from heaven. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that can control. If you go over and look in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, when Jesus calms the sea, that's God. Mm-hmm. Boom, be calm. He's the only one that has the power of that. Satan can't do that stuff. Right? Nowhere in the Bible does it say the serpent has the power to control what God's created. Right. He can manipulate, but he can't control.
Yeah, that's right. So think about that. So think about somebody coming to you and saying that all your kids are dead. You've lost everything. You had this empire built, and you've lost all of that. All of your servants are dead.
In a matter of minutes.
Yeah, in just a matter of minutes. So, I mean, think about what that would do to your psyche. You would be like,
oh, man, you'd be in such shock.
Yeah.
There's no way. If I'm sitting there and servants start coming to my door and they're like, all this is gone, it's like, all right, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I can deal with the camels being gone. We'll get more. It's cool. We got money. We got riches. We got whatever we need. We're cool. We're good. But then he comes and the last one says, all your kids are gone too.
Yeah. And then Job's response was to fall down and pray.
And praise God.
He didn't pray for mercy. He didn't pray, oh, why God, why me?
Well, he didn't just fall down.
I'm just saying, at that point, he didn't go there.
Yeah.
He said, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away.
After this has all happened, then Job arose and tore his robe, shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and worshipped. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
And that shows how righteous of a man this man is. But also, what does it tell you? The Lord did the dirty work, not Satan. Yeah. The Lord tested Job for all that he had given him.
Right.
He took it all back.
Yep.
So for me, reading that, it's telling me, okay, guys, if you want to be a servant of God, just know that if he tests you and take everything, you better still stay loyal to the one Father that you have, the true Father.
Yeah.
That's right. Mm-hmm. It still blows my mind at the amount of people that had to die for this to be a test.
Mm-hmm.
Because were they not following God too?
Right. Well,
if they're looking at Job, you got to think his kids all looking at his father do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The servants are all watching their master sacrifice and watching his empire grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're watching this as he does it. So they know that he's going to God and God is blessing him. right? There's no, in my mind, there's no way that you could sit here and tell me that as servants, you see your master constantly offering sacrifices to God to be a righteous man, to be a giving man, to be this man, and you haven't learned from that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they know there's a God, and they probably still worship God, but they were taken as a sacrifice to test Job.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So I found that very, very odd. But I want to jump back real quick. Well, we can keep going.
It's fine.
Well, we'll go on to the second act of Job.
Yeah, Act 2.
Act 2 of God and Satan.
Yeah. Because God does what? Here comes Satan again.
Yeah, they're out there hanging out,
and he's
and
like,
here comes Satan.
Satan, where you been?
To and fro on here.
Chilling out, going to and fro, and walking here and there.
So from that, I want to jump over to 1 Peter. Just to show you that a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's Old Testament. That's Old Testament. You know, Satan doesn't really roam the earth, or whatever they want to say. I just want to jump over to 1 Peter and chapter 5, verse 8. So in chapter 5, verse 8, well, we'll jump back. Verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion, walketh about, the devil as a roaring lion, not is, but as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. So that just shows you in New Testament, they still know.
He's still wandering around too.
He's down here trying to cause trouble, but he's also up there talking to God, trying to cause trouble.
Right.
He is in both places at the same time. And it's not that he's not traveling. It's traveling, because that's what he says. He's wandering back and forth. He's coming to and from. So, but it blows my mind when you read that, and it's exactly what he's doing. He's looking for the weak. He's looking for something to prey on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you stand strong to a lion, I mean, think about it. David chased the lion and killed it.
He did.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we go into the stories, you got the lion that's out there roaming around, but you got the true lion on the throne, right? And so if you stay righteous, if you stay doing what you're supposed to, you kill that lion that's roaming, right? So I just something to think about on that side of things from this next one. But anyway, Satan, God asked him where he said, so chapter 2, verse 3, then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil, and still he holds fast to his integrity, although you incited me against him. So there again, it was God that did the work that time. You incited me against him.
Right.
Which then leads me to ask the question, why was the devil able to get under God's skin?
I think maybe God knew Job was going to be sinless, and
I think so too. But I'm just saying,
he was taunting the devil. He was like, you know what?
You think he's playing games with the devil? Is what he's doing?
Kinda, in a way, yeah. In a way,
I can see that. I can see that.
But also, obviously, everything in His Word is created as a lesson.
Correct.
So we're all supposed to learn a lesson from that. When you're tempted, and or atrocities come in your life, it may not necessarily be a bad thing. It might be something that you're supposed to learn from. Now, what Job learned, even as as upright as the Bible says that he was, at the end, he still learned. He learned a valuable lesson. He learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Even through all of his faithfulness. I mean, because he complained, but Which of us?
We'll get to that part.
Yeah,
Trust
which
me.
of us wouldn't?
But God says to him, "You incited me against him to destroy him without cause."
Right.
God was the one that brought Job up to him.
Mm-hmm.
So Satan answered the Lord and said, "Skin for skin. Yes, all that a man have, he will give for his life. But stretch out your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will surely curse you to your face." So again, I don't think it's the devil doing this.
No, I don't think so either. It's God.
I think it's God doing this.
Yeah.
And it's God doing this. And I think you're right. I think it's God doing this to prove to the devil that he doesn't have a hold.
Mm.
But at the same time, dude, this is God doing this.
Right.
So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and struck Job with painful boils. See, that's what I don't get.
Right. And so Satan
I don't get it. I don't understand. It's the Lord saying he's doing it. Satan's telling God to do this. And then it says that Satan goes and does it.
Maybe Job, or maybe Satan got to pick the time. Because it says God put his hand on him. So
okay.
I don't know. I've always wondered that.
That's pretty.
That'll be a question when we get to heaven. We'll have to ask God, hey, who did that?
Or find Job.
Who really did it? Yeah, it might be better to ask.
Job
Job wouldn't. Job, I guess.
I'm sure he probably know man now.
Yeah,
I would think. But this is another part that I think a lot of people, when I was watching YouTube and everything else, on them talking about Job, I think this is something that people are misunderstanding or misinterpreting. So it says, and he took for himself I'm sorry, let me back up. Verse 7, chapter 2. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and struck Job with painful boils from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. And he took for himself a potsherd with which to scrape himself while he sat in the midst of ashes.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I mean, you got these things all over your body and you're just scratching. Oh, itches, it's nasty. You're sitting in the middle of ashes, so it's clean.
Right.
Right? Because that's what, burnt ash is the cleanest you can do back then. So you're sitting in ashes to be clean while you're scraping at these boils all over your body. Right? And you're miserable. Mm-hmm. They came out of nowhere.
Right.
And now this is happening to you. And you're just, it's all over your face. It's all over you.
From the pain.
You can't get away from the pain. It's just miserable. And you're sitting there and you're scratching. Oh, you just lost everything you had. And now this is happening to you. Now,
on top of the fact you got a nagging wife.
See, that is the problem.
Yeah.
I don't think she was a nagging wife.
Well, maybe she just cared.
I believe, because when you sit there and look at it and she goes, then his wife, and here's the reason why I don't think she was a nagging wife. This woman was with Job through all the kids. Mm-hmm. And at the end of this, she gave him more kids. Mm-hmm. She was never taken from Job. Now, I believe she was left for this particular reason. She's watching Job, so she's not nagging. It's out of care. She says, then his wife said to him, do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die. But if you look at it, and even in the Bible, it says it's out of evil that she's saying it. But if you think about it, let's truly think about this. You've watched this righteous man your whole life. You've watched him do all this sacrificing to God. You've watched him live a good life. You've watched him raise good kids. You've watched him with servants, and his empire keeps growing. You know this man is a good man, right? And now you see him lose everything. You see him covered in boils. He's obviously being cursed, right? Mm-hmm. And she knows the answer. But why would she give him the answer? Because she's tired of watching a good man suffer. Right? That's my take on it. If I'm sitting here watching my dad go through all these boils and everything else, yeah, I'm going to, dude.
Pull the plug? You going to pull the plug on me?
I would tell you to.
I got to pull my own
because
plug?
I would be tired of watching you sit in ashes scratching yourself. Dude, you're miserable.
Yeah.
Why do you want to keep living like that?
Mm-hmm.
And how long is it going to last? Because nobody says how long it lasts.
Right.
She doesn't know. It's not like she's got a timer like, all right, well, they said that they're going to test him from Monday to Saturday. Yeah, he'll make it. She doesn't know.
Right.
So, I mean, if you look at it from that point, it's like she was saying that out of care because she doesn't want to watch him suffer. Right? That's my take on it.
It could be. You could have a valid point.
Because I would hate to watch anybody.
But how does Job handle it when she says that?
Well, he does say, but he said to her, "You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. God, shall we indeed accept good from God, and shall we not accept adversity?" In all this, Job did not sin with his lips. He never cursed God.
I mean, that's
strength. That's strength and faith.
Yeah.
Right?
Sorry.
You're good.
We're not editing that out either. You guys are just going to have to accept I'm tired.
But I do. I mean, I can understand why he would say that to her, but I feel like she may have been saying it out of...
She probably was. Yeah, like, I'm tired of seeing you miserable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She had to have been going through her own misery.
Right.
You know?
I mean, she just lost all her kids too.
Right.
Right? I mean, that wasn't just Job's kids. The story is about Job, but there's surrounding factors that people never factor in.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so, and that's the other thing is, so you have a whole bunch of outsiders that come into this story, you know, that they don't know the truth of what's really going on, which are his friends.
Yeah.
And they're obviously wealthy guys too.
And I think that the interesting thing about that is that at the beginning, you know, talking about his friends, because there was 3 of them, and
or 4 friends
when they first
3 friends, yeah,
when they first got to Job. I mean, can you imagine going and seeing one of your friends and knowing that he's so miserable, and knowing that he's so down that you don't even say anything to him for 7 days?
You just sit there with him
for 7 days. You just sit and you're quiet with him. To me, that's a real friend. I mean,
that's what I would think.
You know, because I mean, that's just something. You know, somebody's loyal enough to keep you. And I'm sure that they were probably helping him out, and making him food and doing whatever. But you know, just to be silent. I mean, the silence speaks volumes.
Oh yeah.
You know, because sometimes if you don't have the words to say, now they went the other way with it. But
once they started talking, it was all over.
Yeah. So
they would have been better off just keeping their mouths shut.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean that would be. I would think that would be true friends. When they show up, they see Job in this state that he's in, covered in bulls, sitting in ash, and they go sit right beside him and don't say a word.
His wife just told him to kill himself.
Yeah,
you know. So
I mean, like that in itself is, I would say, true friends. But then it goes to say in the Bible that it's, you know, Job speaks up and kind of really just starts going on a rant on how he should have never been born.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but dude, the guy's in pain. 7 days of sitting there with balls and this stuff and everything.
I wish I would have just never.
Yeah.
You know,
if I was,
you want to read read that, or
I'll read a little bit. And then I'll read a little. The comments, because it's a lot.
That's what I was going to say. Job is a very long.
He's a long-winded guy too.
And we're already 38 minutes in, but we do want to cover it, even if we got to go into 2 sessions.
Let's just jump over a little bit into chapter 3.
Okay.
He says, chapter 3, verse 10. I'm sorry, he's talking about his mom and everything in here, dude. I mean, he says, because it did not shut up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hide sorrow from my eyes. Why did I not die at birth? Why did I not perish when I came from the womb? Why did the knees receive me? Should have kept your knees shut, Mom. This is bad. Or why the breasts that I should have nursed? Why'd you feed me?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Why didn't you just let me die when I was a baby?
Right. Then I
wouldn't have known any of this.
Exactly.
For now I would have lain still and been quiet. I would have been asleep, then I would have been at rest with kings and counselors of the earth who built ruins for themselves, or with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or why was I not hidden like a stillborn child? Again, he's just over and over again about, I should have never been born.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many of us have done that? Man, I wish I'd have never been born. You know,
you got to be pretty down, but I've
yeah,
done it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
I
gonna
mean,
lie.
that's what I'm saying.
I've done it. You got to be pretty down on yourself, but I mean, there's a battle to that, and I think that's what Job is kind of. I think when you get into these states of when you, and that's the other thing. Like, if you want to relate it to nowadays, right? I mean, obviously, I don't know anybody that's went through this much pain and turmoil or anything, but when you start getting things taken away from you, and you start getting things pulled out from under you, and you just see your life falling apart, depression is allowed to set in.
Mm-hmm.
I believe depression is a spirit. I believe that spirit of depression sets in and it says you're not good enough. And it allows you to start really getting further into, right? It's not, when people say that they battle depression, it's the spirit of depression.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I think when they're going through that, when he's went through all this stuff, now he's sat there for 7 days. He's already had his wife, tell him this. So that's got him feeling bad.
Yeah.
Right?
All these thoughts
He's already lost
head,
all of his stuff. All these thoughts going through his head of what did I even do to deserve
this?
this?
He was probably anticipating the next thing too. What else is coming?
So anxiety's setting in because of that. You don't know what's coming. Mm-hmm. Right? So, I can understand that. That is one of the first stages of depression is, man, I should have never even been here. Right. If I wasn't born, none of this could have happened.
Yeah, that's right.
Even after, if someone killed somebody, that's the first. If I wasn't born, I would have never been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the depression side of it, and I think that's the spirit. I think it is.
Right. So did what was the question I was going to ask? So, in your opinion, did Job ever? Did he ever like think he did something wrong to deserve all of this?
I think he probably questioned himself to wonder what he might have did, but I don't think he actually thought he did anything wrong. I don't think he recognized that he you know what I'm saying? Like he probably had thoughts of, well, maybe I did this wrong, or maybe I looked the wrong way at somebody, or whatever, and I'm suffering the punishment of God. Yeah. But at the same time, Job knew who he was. Right.
He did, yeah. He knew he was an upright man. But then after the 7-day silence with the friends, they kind of, and I can't, I've read it over several times, but I can't really. It seems like they kind of get self-righteous and kind of attack Job.
Yeah.
But in another sense, I don't know. Maybe they're not being self-righteous. Maybe they're just putting it more into a question of Job. You had to have done something wrong. God doesn't punish people that live like you do.
And see, that's the other thing. Like, none of these people knew why Job was going through this.
Right.
Nobody knew that this was between Satan and God.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, any time and that's probably what's going through his mind, and they're just speaking on his own thoughts at that point. And they know him, they're his friends, but they are just trying to help figure it out.
They think there's something underlying.
Right, that they don't know about.
Right. But again, as many times as I've read it, I can't tell if they're like attacking him, man, you're doing something wrong. You need to repent. But some of the verbiage that they use kind of leans to that, like, hey, like they're being self-righteous.
They are.
And, but again, I don't know.
But at the same time, they could have been self-righteous in the fact of trying to help.
And yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know people that could be self-righteous about themselves.
Right.
But they're still trying to help. Yeah. Because they're your friend. But they know where they're at, where they stand.
They're just giving bad advice.
They're giving horrible advice. Yeah. Right. And so, they would do better just to sit there and shut their mouths.
And Job kind of, he kind of, he chastises them a little bit.
He does.
He
does. But it's because they keep basically blaspheming his name. on who Job is.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, he went through a spill of I should have never been born.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, like I said, that was his depression kicking in. So they hear this. Now, mind you, you got to think, these guys are sitting around in this ash pile with him in 7 days, and the first thing he says is, man, I should have never been born. What goes through your mind?
Right.
Oh, he really messed up.
Yeah.
He did something.
Something's bad.
He's just not saying it yet. So then they go through the ringer with him, right? I mean, and I really don't want to read all that. It's a lot.
Yeah. So you guys dig into Job and read it, but yeah, I mean, they really go on.
But he goes after Job. All of them, they all go after Job. But it was interesting to me because we'll
why don't we jump over to chapter 37? Is it 37 where God kind of calls him to the carpet?
I want to get to his fourth friend.
Oh, okay.
The fourth friend that comes. But Job reproaches all of his friends. I mean, he goes after all of them. He goes back at them, right?
Yeah, he does. He definitely recants.
He's like, who are you to tell me when you don't even know?
Mm-hmm.
Over and over again, he keeps saying this. Who are you to tell me when you're not here? You don't know my righteousness. You don't know how upright I am, how much I love God. I still haven't cursed his name to this day. Yeah. I still haven't committed sin to this day. Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Right. But you're telling me I'm not? Right. So he goes after him about that. Billadad is telling him he must be wicked, and only the wicked are punished.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like Job's looking at him going, are you stupid? I mean, look at all this that I've done for everybody.
And look at what
even you guys. Right? I'm sure I've literally put you where you are.
Right.
My righteousness is what carried you. So to sit there and, oh, man, that's crazy to me to have the friends that would sit there for 7 days and then go straight down there.
Yeah, and that was the part that's the part that kind of had me puzzled, as to whether they were attacking him or not. And he must have taken it from his responses. He must have taken.
He definitely took him as attacks.
Yeah,
he definitely took him as attacks. Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty interesting on that. Ephiza, I think Ephiza is the one. Am I wrong?
What is it?
Hold on. Job complains about the violence on earth, claims righteousness, righteous judgments. Like Job goes in, man. He's long-winded when he goes too. When he starts speaking, he's long-winded until God speaks to him. Then he's not very long-winded. He just shuts his mouth for the most part. I mean, he'll say a little bit, but pretty much his long-windedness is gone when God steps in.
That's right.
But that's what leads me to believe that God doesn't speak to him up until that point. Right? God's never actually spoke to Job. Job was a righteous man off faith. Mm-hmm. Faith alone. Right? And that speaks volumes as well. It's easy to have faith in something when you're seeing it with your own eyes.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? For me to know that you're going to, provide for me as a child, to know that I don't have to have this worry or that worry because I knew that I had a father that provided for me, right? Mm. Job has that faith as a child for God.
Right.
So, and Job knows that, okay, well, as long as I continue to serve God, God's going to bless me. Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty interesting. But let's see.
I was trying to find something too.
Trying to find the fourth friend that comes in. Is it? It was 4, right? There was 4 of them.
I thought it was 3.
3 of them. It might have been.
I may be wrong though.
It is 3. You're right. I thought it was 4 for some reason. I don't know why I was. But anyway, one of the friends. I'm gonna just skip over this because if you guys really want to see some real chastising of a man, read what these friends say to Job. But I want to jump into
they got
the last
from
friend
God though, because God
called
him to the carpet too.
But the last friend comes in and he's like, Job, I've listened to you speak, and I've listened to them speak. I don't want to be one that casts judgment on you. And then about, I don't know, 7 or 8 verses in, he's doing the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
He's talking about how he doesn't want to be a part of this.
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But here's the problem.
Right.
Wicked men.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like, wait a minute. What?
I thought you said you weren't going to say anything.
You weren't saying anything. So, and then it goes into, but Job, even though he's basically putting them back in their place from his verbiage back, he's still complaining, right?
Yeah.
He's in full boo-hoo, poor pitiful me mode, right? I mean, and it's not, who wouldn't be? I understand why, but it's like y'all are literally charging me to say I'm a bad, evil man.
I got enough problems here without you telling me
right.
I got problems.
And these are my problems. These are what I'm going through. Poor pitiful me. Right? So he's sitting there and he's going through all this with them. So I don't know. He talks about a lot of different things. Job goes on a whole rant. I was trying to see in but I do want to touch on this. You were going to
hit on something.
Yes, I want to touch on Job just Job on 28, chapter 28, Job says, surely there is a mine for silver and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth and copper is smelted from ore. Man puts an end to darkness and searches every recess for ore in the darkness and the shadow of death. He breaks open a shaft away from people in places forgotten by feet. They hang far away from men. They swing to and fro. As for the earth, from it comes bread, but underneath it is turned up as by fire. Its stones are the source of sapphires, and it contains gold dust. That path no bird knows, nor has the falcon's eye seen it. The proud lions have not trodden in it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. He puts his hand on the flint. He overturns the mountains at the roots. He cuts out channels in the rocks, and his eyes see every precious thing. He dams up the streams from trickling. What is hidden he brings forth to light. But where can wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its value, nor is it found in the land of the living. The deep says, it is not me, not in me, and the sea says, it is not with me. It cannot be purchased for gold, nor can silver be weighed for its price. It can be valued in the gold of Ophir, in precious onyx or sapphire. Neither gold nor crystal can equal it, nor can it be exchanged for jewelry of fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or quartz, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. The topaz of Ethiopia cannot equal it, nor can it be valued in pure gold. I wanted to stop right there. So I know a lot of you that are watching this, if you are watching this,
hey, I just want to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
If they heard you say that, odds are they're probably watching it.
Right.
So
That's true.
I just want to throw that out there.
So anyway, my mom was telling me, we had a birthday party yesterday for my daughter, and my mom was telling me she was watching this thing from a college, and some white girl stands up and she goes, oh, and she's speaking to a black man that's a Bible scholar, and she goes, how can you be for all this white man shoving this Bible down your throat? That's all they want to push is Bible, Bible, Bible. And he looked at her and he said, we had it first. It started in Africa. The Middle East is where it came from before white man ever knew. Are you kidding me? What? No, well, and I'm like, well, okay. The Ethiopian Bible was before the King James Version, right? Egypt is Moses. What are we talking? Why are they sitting there saying that? Where are these ignorant people coming from?
I don't know.
Anyway, I know that was a jump off on the
sidetrack.
That was a sidetrack, but It popped in my head because it says the topaz of Ethiopia.
Right. But
like,
I mean, what that's saying is that it doesn't matter how much riches you have. There is
the
no
wisdom
amount of wealth
right.
on this earth. There is nothing of this earth
that will amount to wisdom
that can amount to or buy wisdom.
Right.
You cannot buy it. And a lot of people don't understand that. So a lot of people get offended by deep dives in the Bible. You know, that
I agree.
And you start learning things and seeing things, and you know that I've said for a long time that kind of one of my tests to God, you know, I mean, you're not really a test, but God will give you things you ask for. You know,
Right.
He's going to give you things you ask for. I mean, it would be like,
as long as it's in His will.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying. So I really earnestly, several years ago, I really, like, before I would even ever open my Bible, I'd be like, God, give me the eyes to read this, and give me the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding to be able to take this information in and process it the way that you intend it to be processed. Right. You know, and let me be able to open it and see things. And it's been so odd. I don't want to call it odd because it's not odd, but to be able to open the Bible and to be able to see things, have people come at me, and I'm not, and I don't mean this in that kind of way, but there's been pastors that I've gone toe to toe with that were, they've been a pastor for 40 years, and not a lot. It's been one guy, but he believed things he believed things in the Bible that were not true, and I sat him down one day and I talked to this guy. How do you
believe something in the Bible that's not true? That's my question.
It was a misinterpretation.
Okay.
It was a misinterpretation. So when I sat down with him and showed him and cross-referenced 20 other scriptures that led back to the two scriptures that he was using, and I won't talk about the subject, but he's like, wow, I said, I cannot believe that I've been wrong about that all these years. And
it's what
his
people want to see too.
Well, his reflection back was, I've taught, how many people have I taught that? And
I think that by showing that, right, I think that's what it's the same thing that I just had a conversation in my men's group, and it's, you're going to be taught something that I may not know.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's your job to explain to me. Now, in the Bible, I said this earlier, it's the fear of the Lord is the wisdom and knowledge, right? And in that, and the way I translate that and learn from that is, God's going to teach you, and the more you learn, the more wisdom you have, the more fear you have for who He is and what could happen to you. It's not, I don't have any fear that I'm going to be judged harshly. I don't have any fear that I won't make it to heaven, right? Because I know I have a walk in a relationship with Jesus Christ. And through Him, He talks to God, right? That's my flesh talking to His. So my thing is I think a lot of people will learn from this, but so many people don't want to hear what you've interpreted, because it doesn't, they're not grasping the wisdom side of it. Mm-hmm. Now, I should be able to listen to anybody that wants to come with me or come to me and say something they found in the Bible. But then I take from that and I listen. I don't put down. I don't, you don't attack them. Right. I go and do my own research to come back and say, hey, this is what I found. Or, man, you're so right. Right. So, but if you don't learn from it or gain the wisdom or knowledge from it, from what you've been just told, which it states in the Bible that Jesus uses people, or God uses people as well. Right. Well, so if they're coming to tell you, if I came up to you and said, I don't know, let's just say I came up to you and I was talking about David and Goliath, right? And I'm telling you that, well, I learned Goliath wasn't really a giant, right? So now I'm telling you this.
Right.
Okay. You hear my story on why I found that to believe that, right? And I'm giving you the evidence of what I found, maybe misinterpreted, but it's your job as a Christian to listen, to hear me out, and to discern, not to attack, but to say, hey, but did you think about it this way? Or did you look at it this way? You know, it's because the Bible is up for interpretation, right? And we all interpret it differently, but one collective is the same. It is strictly stated that you have to have a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to learn what God needs you to see when you see it. And it's up to us to listen to those that want to teach.
Right. And there's another part to that where the Bible talks about, you know, it's talking about wisdom and knowledge.
Right.
And it talks about as iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
So one man sharpens another.
Correct.
And the only way that happens is engaged in conversation.
Correct.
And you can disagree. You can even get loud. You know, I've had conversations with people where it gets a little heated, you know, because they feel strong about their side, I feel strong about my side, or, you know, but that's just how we are as people. But God doesn't mind that, because now, not being, you know, cursing somebody out and,
right.
you know, and being disrespectful,
not attacking.
But when you're sharpening iron, bam,
yeah,
you know, you're making that sword, bam,
right.
and it's rough, and it can be rough, and it's hot, and you keep heating it, and you keep heating it, you keep smashing it with that hammer. But then when you get down to the nitty gritty, now you're taking a fine piece of sandpaper and you're just filing that thing to a sharp edge. And then by the time you're done, you've learned.
But you have to be willing to accept.
You have to be willing. You don't have to be willing to accept. You have to just be willing to be open to learning. And then
that's the part that I'm saying.
Like if you tell me the story about the giants, you know, or the Goliath, and I say, well, Michael, why do you think that? You know, and you'd be like, well, you know, I found it in this chapter and verse, you know, and it's talking about where he was a pygmy, and I'm like, and I'd be like, well, are you sure you're reading that right? Show me right. that, you know, show me that in the Bible. And then
everybody was scared of him because he was tiny.
He'd kick you in the shin. Ow, like a chihuahua. But I want
to go into
yeah, we got a little off track there.
But I want to jump in on wisdom because, you know, like I said, because this is kind of the underlying tone. Even though we're on Job, it is about wisdom and learning.
Actually, yeah, it's absolutely about
and so in Proverbs 8, it's wisdom and folly. It says, doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of high places by the way, in the places of the paths. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in her door, at the doors unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing forward or perverse in them. So if you're speaking wisdom, if you're talking wisdom of something you know, your words are to be righteous, nothing forward or perverse. They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge. So if you're listening, you're truly trying to understand, you will have understanding and knowledge from it.
Yeah, you'll get it.
Receive my instruction, not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. So, wisdom dwelleth with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. So, wisdom is also knowledge to grow through yourself, through invention.
Yeah, that's right.
The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy and the evil way. So that's another fear of the Lord. Through wisdom, you hate evil, pride, arrogancy, and evil ways.
Right.
And the forward mouth do I hate. So counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. By my princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of earth. I love them that love me. So if you seek out wisdom, it will seek you back.
Mm-hmm.
You will learn more and more and more. You will
Sometimes
grow.
it'll scare you.
It definitely scares you sometimes. And those that seek me early shall find me. Riches and honor are with me. Ye durable riches, or yea, durable riches and righteousness. So if you start seeking wisdom, you will be rewarded for wisdom.
Yeah, that's right. And that wisdom will turn into knowledge, which will turn into understanding.
Correct.
You know, an immense amount of understanding, which is, you know, that's things that I pray for. That's what I've wanted my gift of the Spirit to be. And well, yeah, that would be an interesting topic to talk about.
Gifts of the Spirit?
Mm.
Yeah, that would be a good one. I like that. And my revenue
Oh, I'm
that
sorry. I didn't
shows
mean to
silver.
interrupt
You're
you.
good. I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the path of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will find their treasures. I will fill their treasures. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way. So in the beginning, before he even created anything, well, I get to it. It says it. But it says the Lord possessed me in the beginning. Before his works of old, I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. Where there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no foundations, abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set up compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was by him, as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth. And my delights were with the sons of men. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, waiting for at the posts of my doors. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord. So whoso follows wisdom and knowledge finds life and obtains favor from God. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. All those that don't want to learn, that don't want to listen, that don't want to grow, are dooming themselves to death.
Well, and a lot of people think too, and I've never understood this.
That was Proverbs 8. If you guys want to go read it.
That's an awesome chapter. I love the Proverbs.
I
awesome.
love that. That's
but
awesome.
A lot of people, and I want to make sure I don't word this right. So maybe if I word it and I say it incorrectly and you know what I'm trying to say, maybe reword it for me.
Okay.
So many people are afraid, and I think I said this earlier on, they're afraid to dive into the Bible. They think that all we're supposed to do is love people and preach salvation. That's an important part of the Bible.
Very.
That to me is our selfish part, because that's what's taken us to heaven. So for me, learning about salvation and learning about Christ and the fact that he died on the cross for our sins, that's my selfish side coming out. I want that because I want to go to heaven. I don't want to be separated from God. But to me, the rest of it is the meat. And I want to know, I want to expand my mind around everything in that book that God's trying to teach us. And he's got so many, just like what you just read. And he's teaching us if we'll be wise. I mean, the Bible says that, you know, the wise walk with the wise, you know, and, you know, and another point, it talks about casting your pearls before swine. So when you know something, when you have wisdom about something and you're wise and you know something in the Bible, well, that you're trying to share with somebody and they deny it, you're just supposed to dust your feet of them and walk away because they don't want to know.
Right.
You know, or maybe, you know, sometimes it's just not time for them to know. But when
sometimes
arrogancy,
it's not time for you to plant the seed.
But when arrogancy gets involved with that, what did you read about arrogancy in that chapter?
You're doomed to be a fool and die.
You're doomed to be a fool. And so when you know, and the sign of an intelligent brain, and I'm talking about outside of wisdom and knowledge in God and the things that he does, but that to me is, I would rather have wisdom of the Bible than any amount of wisdom that I could have of the world as being a mathematician or a scientist or anything else.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know, the sign of an intelligent mind is to be able to ponder a thought without necessarily accepting it. So if somebody tells you something, if I tell you something out of the Bible and you find it offensive, there's a couple of things that could be wrong. Number one, I've hit a nerve because there's something in there that you know is true that you want to deny because you're living in that.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, your brain just shuts down because you just can't see it. You know, the Bible tells us also that, you know, he'll give us eyes to see and ears to hear if we'll open ourselves up to that. So some people don't. They don't. They think that the most important thing is pulling somebody aside and going, "Hey, Jesus loves you," you know. But a lot of times, maybe they have a problem in their life that you could apply something out of this book to their life and make that salvation more real.
Right. You can show somebody going through depression the story of Job.
Yeah.
And how he overcame it.
Right.
So I think there's a it's not in the Bible, but there's a really wise saying that I've heard over the years. But God gave you what? 2 eyes to see, 2 ears to hear, 1 mouth to speak.
That's right.
Right? We're supposed to see and hear double what we open our mouths to.
It gives you two lips to keep that pie hole shut.
That's right. That's right. So I just think it's, you know, it's interesting when you hear people say that. But so let's jump over to where are we at? Where are we at?
Well, we're pretty deep in. We're an hour and 12 minutes.
Let's start with.
We could go a few more.
Let's shut it down because now I want to pick up on when God goes to Job, because that's going to be some.
You're talking about calling to the carpet. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna make a season 2 out of this.
We're gonna make an episode 2.
Okay.
So we'll do
right, guys.
We'll do an episode.
Well,
2.
we appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Look for episode 2 on the Book of Job, and we will.
I'm looking forward to this. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.
God bless you.